morning, evening, or night, wherever you are, welcome to WHAM Today. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let's drift through the whispers of today's world, one quiet thought at a time. As we wrap up Sunday, 25th May 2025, let's see what stories are unfolding around us. China is aggressively marketing its military technology abroad. The Chengdu J-10 fighter jet has been offered to Colombia. It is also being promoted to the Royal Malaysian Air Force at the LAMA 2025 exhibition. Serial production of the J-35A fighter jet may have started. This is potentially aimed at countering the US F-35 in future conflicts. Turning to the Middle East, Donald Trump's recent trip yielded AI investment agreements with Saudi Arabia and the UAE. These deals are now under scrutiny. Concerns have arisen that they could inadvertently grant China access to sensitive technology. The Philippines is actively bolstering its defense infrastructure through strategic international partnerships and procurement initiatives. To this end, the U.S. and Philippine Coast Guards recently concluded a joint maritime cooperative activity along with joint military exercises in the South China Sea designed to improve maritime security. The U.S. Army's Transformation in Contact program is currently evaluating advanced vehicles and drone technology within the Philippines, concentrating on adaptability to diverse climates for future operational effectiveness. As part of these ongoing efforts, Lockheed Martin has presented a proposal to supply F-16 Viper fighter jets to the Philippines, which includes provisions for enhanced range and comprehensive skills transfer to Philippine personnel. Russia is aggressively pursuing military modernization, upgrading its Iskander-M missiles to better evade interception. Russia also continues its push to expand arms exports and curry influence in South Asia, offering advanced fighter jets such as the Su-35s, Su-57 and Su-75. Adding to international tensions, South Korean military sources suggest North Korea likely benefited from Russian assistance in advancing its air-to-air missile technology. Meanwhile, in Spain, the U.S. Air Force has stationed B-52 bombers at Moron Air Base. This deployment is part of a Bomber Task Force Europe mission, widely seen as a strategic move to deter potential Russian aggression. Malaysia is actively bolstering its defense sector and international collaborations. The Langkawi International Maritime and Aerospace Exhibition, Lima 2025, is serving as a venue for the US and Malaysia to enhance their defense and commercial relationship. Concurrently, Thales is reaffirming its dedication to Malaysia through new leadership appointments and recent contract acquisitions. Focused on improving its air defense infrastructure, Malaysia is expanding its capabilities with the implementation of the Thales GM400 ASA radar system. In related news, Malaysia has initiated a 15-year helicopter leasing arrangement with Leonardo, encompassing the procurement of 149 helicopters destined for the Malaysian military, facilitated through an agreement with Westar. The United States Air Force is moving forward with plans to convert a Boeing 747, originally acquired from Qatar, into a new Air Force One. This follows the acceptance of the luxury jet from Qatar during the Trump administration. Questions have arisen regarding the legality of accepting such a gift, in addition to concerns over the potentially high costs of modification, which may surpass $400 million for the Pentagon's new presidential aircraft. South Korea's leading presidential candidate, Lee Jae-myung, proposed prolonging tariff negotiations with the United States, signaling a potential shift in trade strategies. The South Korea-US alliance faces a period of significant restructuring. Meanwhile, the nation has been actively engaged in repairing damaged F-35 Lightning II fighter jets. These repairs come amid ongoing discussions about the U.S. military presence in the region, as Washington reportedly considers withdrawing several thousand troops although Seoul maintains that formal discussions about reducing US forces Korea, USFK, have not occurred. Adding to the defense dialogue, there is ongoing debate within South Korea regarding the necessity of acquiring an aircraft carrier, highlighting differing perspectives on the nation's future naval capabilities. United Kingdom skies will soon see a change as the U.S. Air Force prepares to withdraw its F-15 Strike Eagle fighter bombers. Adding to the country's defense capabilities, the Skynet 6AA military satellite, designed for use by the UK military, has completed module integration, marking a significant step forward. Turning to Mauritius, an agreement has been forged with the United Kingdom, ensuring that U.S. Air Force fighters and bombers can be deployed from Diego Garcia well into the future. Australia is actively supporting Ukraine by sending its first consignment of decommissioned MUN A1 Abrams tanks. Shifting focus to the Indian Ocean, the United Kingdom and the United States have renewed their agreement, allowing the U.S. access to the UK-controlled Diego Garcia military base for the next 100 years. Meanwhile, the United States Air Force is rethinking its deployment strategy in the United Kingdom, phasing out F-15 Strike aircraft in favor of advanced F-35 stealth fighters. Details regarding the differences in military learning approaches between Ukraine and Australia were not elaborated upon. Germany's industrial sector may soon benefit from government intervention, as officials contemplate lowering electricity prices to improve their competitive edge, though concerns linger regarding market distortions and environmental impacts. Meanwhile, the U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Division is actively engaged in training exercises within Germany, testing innovative tank formations and deploying 3D-printed drones to refine battlefield strategy. Shifting to France, President Emmanuel Macron recently announced a series of economic reforms aimed at boosting employment and reducing the national debt. These measures include tax incentives for businesses and changes to labor laws. Macron emphasized the need for France to remain competitive in the global market. In the latest from Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government unveiled a new strategy to address the rising cost of living. The plan includes measures to increase affordable housing options and provide financial support to low-income families. Critics argue that the plan doesn't go far enough to tackle the root causes of inflation. Turning our attention to Japan, the Bank of Japan decided to maintain its ultra-loose monetary policy despite rising inflation. Governor Kazuo Ueda cited concerns about the fragility of the economic recovery. The decision has weakened the yen and fueled debate about the long-term sustainability of Japan's approach. Over in Australia, the government is facing pressure to increase its efforts to combat climate change. A recent report highlighted the country's vulnerability to extreme weather events. Activists are calling for stronger emissions reduction targets and a transition to renewable energy sources. Singapore marks 45 years of defense cooperation with Indonesia through Exercise Elang Indopura, a joint Air Force training initiative. Separately in Singapore, 1004 individuals have completed their training to become specialists and military experts within the Singapore Armed Forces, SAF, enhancing the nation's defense capabilities. Argentina's state aircraft manufacturer, Fadea, faces a growing crisis with increasing debt and delayed contracts. Turning to Australia, the first shipment of retired MUN A1 Abrams tanks has been sent to Ukraine. Australia also participated in a multilateral maritime cooperative activity alongside the Philippines and the United States. Further, the Air Force Museum of New Zealand has been recognized as the top children's learning center in Australasia. In Egypt, a military training jet crashed, tragically killing the crew. Egypt is also reportedly engaging in discussions with France regarding the acquisition of Rafale fighter jets and technology transfer. France, as mentioned, is reportedly in talks with Egypt concerning the sale of Rafale fighter jets and associated technology transfer. Separately, the legal status of the Napoleonic Code in France is under consideration. The question of India potentially purchasing Lockheed Martin's F-35 stealth fighter is being weighed. During Operation Sindoor, the Indian Air Force, IFF, successfully jammed Pakistan's Chinese-supplied air defense systems in just 23 minutes. The use of memes in the India-Pakistan conflict is also being analyzed. Indonesia, meanwhile, has valid reasons to reject the basing of Russian aircraft on its territory. Chinese media has questioned Indonesia's investment in Rafale fighters after a clash between India and Pakistan, but Indonesian officials have defended the decision. In Israel, an insurgent involved in the October 7 Hamas attack was eliminated during a recent operation. Tragically, in Gaza, 9 of a doctor's 10 children were killed in recent Israeli strikes. Myanmar is experiencing a rare earths mining boom in Kachin state, with activists reporting deaths and environmental damage. The region's independence movement is attempting to address the exploitation of these minerals. The USS Blue Ridge has departed Wellington, New Zealand, following a port visit. New Zealand is considering purchasing cargo planes, helicopters, and Javelin missiles as part of its new budget. As noted earlier, the Air Force Museum of New Zealand has been recognized as the top children's learning center in Australasia. Pakistan faced jamming of its Chinese-supplied air defense systems by the Indian Air Force, IAF. During Operation Sindoor, a mission completed in 23 minutes. The use of memes in the India-Pakistan conflict is also being examined. The Philippines participated in the multilateral maritime cooperative activity with Australia and the United States. Qatar's offer of a Boeing 747 for use as Air Force One has been officially accepted by the United States. South African soldiers in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, have been instructed to surrender their weapons in Rwanda. South Africa's soldiers, as mentioned, in the DRC have been instructed to surrender their weapons in Rwanda. In South Sudan, a judge is questioning government lawyers regarding alleged deportations, raising concerns about the safety of the deportees. The Thai Air Force has selected Swedish Gripen jets over the US F-16. Switzerland is expanding its defense ties with the European Union by taking on a new cyber defense role. Thailand, as mentioned, has seen its Air Force opt for Swedish Gripen jets over the US F-16. The United States has officially accepted Qatar's offer of a Boeing 747 for use as Air Force One. Furthermore, the United States, Australia, and the Philippines conduct multilateral maritime cooperative activity. A U.S. airstrike in Yemen reportedly killed 5 suspected al-Qaeda militants, according to security sources. Venezuela has freed a U.S. Air Force veteran considered wrongfully detained, according to his family. Venezuela, as just noted, has freed a U.S. Air Force veteran who was considered wrongfully detained, according to his family. Finally, in Yemen, a U.S. airstrike reportedly killed 5 suspected al-Qaeda militants, according to security sources. And that's a wrap for today's news, because even headlines need a nap. Stay curious, stay kind, and let the noise fade as you find your quiet. Take care, stay awesome, and I'll see you next time on WHAM Today.